Welcome to Mobil 1 The Grid. Coming up, we mark your card for the 24 hours of Le Mans. Team up with Indy 500 winners Andretti Autosport. And join the World Rally Championship in Sardinia. To begin today's Mobil 1 The Grid, we hear from the drivers hoping for victory in the biggest endurance race of them all.
This year's 24 Hours of Le Mans will see two of the world's biggest manufacturers go head-to-head. After a heartbreaking defeat last year, Toyota will field 3 TSO 50s in an attempt to overcome the might of back-to-back winners Porsche.
Le Mans is obviously the very big target for us, #1 target, so going there with 3 cars for the first time, I think it's great. We had a good preparation, so hopefully, that's going to be our year.
When I think about Le Mans, it's just a dream comes true for me. It's just amazing, It's just really waiting. I can't wait just to be there, and also for the team and my teammates, it's special, I really hope that this year we can give Toyota this win in Le Mans, which they've been looking for many years.
The challenge of Le Mans is unlike any other. For the drivers taking part, it requires the highest levels of fitness and preparation.
Very long race, very long night, and limit. You go to your limits of your physical and mental capacity. That's what it is, and you try to be at your top level just on the spot on that one day, on that 24 hours.
We do actually more than 24 hours of testing. It's like 30 hours of endurance test, so that's the biggest part of the preparation, and we get used to the rhythm to drive the car and get out of the car, have a rest, sleep, wake up again, drive again, these kind of things.
Behind the fight for overall victory, the GTE Pro class will provide an epic transatlantic battle with Ferrari, Aston Martin and Porsche going up against American big guns Corvette and last year's winners Ford.
Going back to Le Mans this year, there's definitely less weight on your shoulder. You go back and win it for a second time, or you don't win. We did some great stuff last year as a program, and we're only getting better and better, so I think we have a lot of potential to do some more great things. It's not all behind us, there's still a lot in front of us.
Everybody wants to win this thing in a battle. Nobody wants to have it handed to them. Racers have a high degree of pride. I think this year we're going to see a higher level of competition, consequently a lot better racing. I like it when we go in and when anybody can win. That's what makes it fun.
That's what we want to do. We want to race wheel to wheel and door to door. Maybe some paint is going to be changed. That's GT, and I think GT is going to be the category to watch. So it's going to be amazing this year.
We have a big manufacturer fighting for the championship. So for every driver, it's more motivation to give everything and to be there. You have to do all correct, no mistakes. In motorsport, everybody wants to win, so it's not so easy, but for sure, we are well prepared. We are all very happy, and we want to be on the podium and to win.
With an 8.5-mile mix of permanent racetrack and public roads, the Circuit de la Sarthe is a huge challenge for GTE and prototype drivers. But when you've got 1,000 horsepower under your right foot, it's a lot of fun too.
The first laps at Le Mans every year, they're very special. When you go down off the Dunlop chicane downhill into Est de la Forêt and Tertre Rouge, you just feel like, oh yeah, we're back. And then down the long straights, bottoming in the beginning with higher fuel loads. It's just special.
For me at Le Mans, my favourite part of the circuit is definitely the Porsche curves. First of all, this part is seriously quick, and any corner where you've got to take a little bit of a deep breath before you go in there, and really push yourself is always a nice spot. So this is probably the most spectacular part of the circuit.
Alongside Sebastian Buemi and Anthony Davidson, Kazuki Nakajima will be hoping for better luck this year. Coming so close to an historic win in 2016 hasn't dampened the Japanese star's spirit.
The atmosphere there is really impressive. It's really a special feeling. It's something that I never felt, even when I was racing in Formula 1. So it's really great to be there and a big honor as a driver.
Time now to hit the stages in Sardinia with round 7 of the WRC Rally Italy. Day 1 and championship leader Sébastien Ogier led off on the Mediterranean island of Sardinia, knowing that sweeping the roads for the rest of the field meant zero grip and a very difficult rally. But others had bigger problems. Elfyn Evans stuck his M Sport Fiesta into the trees. And then came Citroen's Chris Meek, blasting along the gravel tracks, leading the rally until it all went wrong. Saturday, and the rally leader Thierry Neuville struggled with the dusty morning running and failing brakes as he dropped back to 4th. When the sun broke through, the crowds enjoyed Monty Lerno's classic Mickey's Jump. Toyota's new boy Esa-Pekka Lappi was flying. But it was M Sport's Estonian ace Ott Tänak who was making the biggest move, chasing down new rally leader Hayden Paddon. And the pressure told as the Kiwi hit a bank, and as he continued, his right rear wheel caught fire. He soldiered on briefly, but his rally was well and truly cooked. On the final morning, rally leader Ott Tänak gave second-place Jari-Matti Latvala a sniff of victory when he overcooked a corner, but the Toyota man gave the time right back, stalling in deep sand. He was destined to be bridesmaid. Tänak brought his M Sport Fiesta safely home for his maiden WRC triumph. Ogier still leads the championship, but Tänak has finally made his breakthrough. Next stop, Poland. Next up, we take a look back at this year's Indianapolis 500 and back-to-back winners, Andretti Autosport.
The 101st running of the Indy 500 was packed with nail-biting incidents, including pole-sitter Scott Dixon's spectacular crash and the engine failure of two-time F1 world champion Fernando Alonso after leading the race. But eventually it would be Alonso's Andretti teammate Takuma Sato who would take the checkered flag.
Unbelievable feeling. Oh, I can't thank enough to the whole team. Look at this, guys.
Here's Michael Andretti. Oh my gosh. How about that for joy?
New to Andretti Autosport in 2017, Takuma Sato brings a wealth of racing experience from F1, like his teammate and last year's Indy 500 winner Alexander Rossi.
Having Takuma on the team is awesome. He was one of the fastest Honda guys last year, actually, across all the tracks. So his kind of speed and his knowledge of just developing a race car from his time in Formula 1 and IndyCar will be a pretty big asset. It's very exciting for us to have him be a part of the team, be nothing but positive.
Michael gave me a super opportunity because working, somewhere like Andretti Autosport, it's massive resource, the proper top team, and has got a great histories. The atmosphere in the team is superb. Everyone working so close together, and it's just so proper.
So far, what I've learned from him is he's pretty technically advanced. He has a lot of history in Formula 1 and stuff like that, and just in the meetings, there's a lot that I've already learned. He's fast, he's fearless. I think he's a good addition to the team.
Now with 5 Indy 500 wins and 4 championships, Andretti Autosport has become a powerhouse team in the Verizon IndyCar Series. And with the current crop of drivers led by owner Michael Andretti, 2017 is looking like a season to remember.
I think we got a great lineup. It starts with Ryan. Ryan has been our guy that's won a lot of races for us. Won the Indy 500, won the championship for us. And then we brought in a rookie last year who did pretty good. Then we have Marco, who has been with us for a long time. And our newest addition is Takuma Sato, and I'm really excited to have him on board. Really excited about our driver lineup. I think we got a strong team.
Driving for Andretti Autosport is a huge honor. I mean, this is a race team that I looked up to as a kid. This team's like family. The consistency, the stability there is very important to a driver and to success. So I'm very happy where I am, and I feel very grateful.
Having Dad as the team boss it's a unique scenario. I think, to be honest, there's nobody else I'd rather win with, which is why I'm going into my 12th season with them. So I really believe we can make it happen.
Managing drivers and sometimes looking after egos is no easy task. For Andretti, it's all part of the job of running a super team.
There's a lot of guys that I would look at talent-wise that I think would really fit in with the team, but then I don't think personality-wise they would. When that happens, it actually disrupts the whole thing. So I think it's very important that you have that chemistry, and we work very hard on that.
Michael is great at distributing time. I mean, it's difficult for him because he's got 4 of us, right? He's a part of every meeting. You can always get him on the phone, and he's a racing driver, so he gets it. And he can kind of speak your language a little bit. He wants to win just as badly as we do. And, you know, he can trust what we're saying because he's been in that position. He's been there before, and he's a great team boss.
Each with a different skill set, the 4 Andretti drivers complement each other to form a group dynamic other teams strive for, whilst constantly learning from one another.
Ryan is one of the best to do what we do, and he's definitely in the peak of his career, so he's definitely one of those that I measure myself up against, and it's a good feeling knowing that when you beat him, you're going to probably be at the pointy end of the field. He knows how to squeeze the most from an Indy car, and lucky enough to have their data to go up against.
The one thing about this team is it has to be open lines of communication. The egos have to be set aside, and you have to work towards the benefit of the team first and foremost.
The whole idea is just to compete hard in a healthy way and to bring the whole team up to the next level. That I believe we could all do that.
It's always a work in progress, but it all starts with the 4 guys, you know, getting along, and I think we have a really good mixture.
After the break, we meet the Le Mans racer who switched from Audi to Porsche. And Belgium's biggest ever racing star, a Le Mans and Formula One legend.
Hey.
Kevin Harvick.
Changing your oil after 3,000 miles?
Yes.
If you'd used new Mobil 1 annual protection, you wouldn't have to. It protects your engine for 1 year with just 1 oil change.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Can I ask you a question? Why are you 3 inches tall?
Why aren't you 3 inches tall?
Don't change your oil. New Mobil 1 annual protection.
Welcome back to Mobil 1 The Grid. Still to come, the best of the action from NASCAR's visit to Pocono. And we meet Belgium's 6 times Le Mans winner, Jacky Ickx. But first, a current Porsche star who switched to the 18-time Le Mans winners when Audi left the World Endurance Championship at the end of last year.
When Porsche rolled out the first 919 hybrid at Weissach in June 2013, Audi star André Lotterer was already looking for his 3rd win at the Circuit de la Sarthe. 4 years later, the German ace finds himself in the Porsche cockpit, hoping to drive his former rivals to a Le Mans hat-trick of their own.
I think it's very special to race for Porsche at Le Mans, especially. It's maybe like F1, Ferrari in Monza in terms of feelings. So yeah, it's been an intensive first month to learn about everything, the team, the car, all the systems, how to drive it, new teammates, so a lot of new things. It's quite a big challenge, but for sure it will be an intense battle, I can feel.
With 3rd and 4th place finishes in his first 2 races, Lotterer has formed a fast bond with teammates Neil Jani and Nick Tandy. He now heads to Le Mans, having previously won there 3 times with former Audi co-pilots Marcel Fessler and Benoit Treluet.
If you compare to what I had with Ben and Marcel, we came new together at Audi and were there for 7 years, so it will take time to reach that level, and obviously we know each other from the WC paddock and having fun sometimes traveling together, but now we have to create our own team and it's happening, and I'm really happy to be on board with Nick and Neil.
I support it.
There you go.
With Nick winning Le Mans 2015 at his first attempt was a great achievement, so I'm happy to have him on board with me. And Andre, you know, we don't need to talk about him. He has proven many times at Audi what he can do. And really happy to have those 2 on board. And yeah, I think we should be a good team.
Jani and Tandy both experienced maiden victories at Le Mans in the past 2 seasons. Although it's 6 years since his first win, it's something their new teammate will never forget.
For sure, the first victory at Le Mans will remain forever an awesome memory to share with the whole team and my teammates. And in 2011 it was an epic race. I was driving for 5 stints till the finish. I think that was a tremendous memory to have.
Lotterer once seemed destined for Formula One. He was test driver for Jaguar back in 2002, but a race seat never materialised and he instead found success racing Super Formula in Japan. He did finally get an F1 start with Caterham at Spa in 2014, but it's Le Mans that defines his career.
I remember going with my father. That was my first experience there, and I just know Le Mans from watching on the races, and I was really in love with the Group C era. I think that was just fantastic race cars where even as a little child I was having huge eyes, bigger than seeing a F1 car, for example. And although that was great times when Senna and McLaren was around, but these Group C cars always fascinated me, and I'm living that dream now, so it's nice.
Time to head back onto the grid now for stock car action from the US. And Pocono was the setting for round 14 of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
Kyle Busch was on pole in the number 18 Toyota for 160 laps around the Pennsylvania racetrack they call the Tricky Triangle. And Busch dominated the race early on, taking the bonus points for winning stage 1 of the 3-stage race. Lap 59 and fan favourite Dale Earnhardt Jr. was forced to retire with transmission issues. But a few laps later, it was the brakes that failed for reigning champion Jimmy Johnson.
Wow. Jimmy Johnson slams the wall in Pocono.
Oh my.
Fucking brake failed. Wowzers.
Running 7th, Johnson with a brake problem, and Jamie McMurray has destroyed the right side of his car.
As a race car driver, this is one of your biggest fears, is a brake issue here. Oh, he's going to get out in a hurry.
They were running 7th and 9th, and it's crash and burn for Jamie McMurray's car.
As they reached the close of stage 2, Kyle Busch was now in 2nd, and he wouldn't catch number 42 Kyle Larson for the bonus points.
This will be lap 100. The green and white flag is in the air for Kyle Larson.
With 19 to go, brake trouble for Casey Kane brought the yellow flag back out, and while Kyle Busch stayed out, many others pitted for fresh rubber, and this proved to be the better strategy as the number 21 Ryan Blaney surged to the front.
Blaney loose!
Oh, he's driving the heck out of that thing.
He's going to clear him.
Clear.
Got the lead.
Clear.
Blaney to the front.
The 21 car to the lead.
As the race reached its conclusion, Blaney was fighting to hold off the hard-charging number 4 of Kevin Harvick.
And Blaney beats Harvick back to the gas. Harvick looks slow, and here they come. The winner at Pocono, Ryan Blaney for the Wood Brothers.
Wow.
What a race.
Wow. Going to be one popular victory.
Look at that team. Are they excited or what?
A maiden win for Blaney and the first win for Wood Brothers Racing since the Daytona 500 6 years ago. Next stop, Michigan. To end today's Mobil One The Grid, we meet one of the most celebrated racing drivers of all time, 6-time Le Mans winner, Jacky Ickx.
Earlier this year, Belgian racer Jacky Ickx was honoured at the inaugural historic Motorsport International Gala event in London. The 72-year-old has long been recognised as one of the greats, and like many of his era, he raced everything from motorbikes to touring cars, and from endurance racing to Formula One.
Everyone is surprised when I say what I wanted to be in my childhood. I always thought I would have loved to be a gardener or to be a gamekeeper. I did motor racing basically because I was poor at school. But when I started racing with motorcycle, for the first time in my life, I discovered that the joy of the podium. And that changed a lot of things in life, when you know you're at least good at one thing.
But he wasn't only good on a bike, he was fast in a car too, and it was Ken Tyrrell who gave the young Ickx his big break in single-seaters, racing alongside some of the biggest names in motorsport.
In my childhood, when I was not planning to become race driver at all, Fangio was the iconic driver, and he still is. More contemporary to me, Jim Clark was a total inspiration, and clearly the chance to be a partner in the Canterbury team with Jacky Stewart was quite something, because he was an inspiration to beat. He has always been the man with 100 Grand Prix, 3 title of world champion, and we were next to each other, so it was a privilege.
Ickx didn't secure a world title himself. In more than a decade of Grand Prix, he won 8 races and made the podium 25 times. But by the mid-70s, sports cars and Le Mans were at the forefront of the Belgians' thoughts.
Motorsport was very dangerous in those days. It's not a matter of talent, it's a matter of luck, pure luck. I did a huge mileage of motor racing. I didn't hurt myself, but at a certain moment, honestly, I've realized that I was not ready anymore to pick up the last 0.2 of a second need to win a Grand Prix. So the incredible offer to join Porsche was really welcome. I've driven almost all the Porsche possible, 935, 936, 956, even Paris-Dakar with a 911. When you drive a Porsche, it's clearly an open door for winning.
When Ickx began his association with Porsche, he'd already won the 24 Hours of Le Mans twice, but this new partnership ensured his legend, as he went on to win a total of 6 races at the Circuit de la Sarthe.
Le Mans is like playing at the casino the same number 6 times in a row. You need to be lucky and to be in the right car and to have the right partner. To win 1 time Le Mans, it's an iconic win. When you have won 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, it becomes incredible. Tom Christensen, who is a very excellent driver, he won 9 times. Can you imagine what it is 9 times? That will be unbeatable.
While Ickx dominated his own era at Le Mans, the Grand Prix victories, Can-Am title and even victory in the Dakar Rally proved his versatility. He may tell us that he was lucky, but it was his winning attitude that made him such a fierce competitor and a legend of motorsport.
Never give up. Even if you are far down in the position during the race, even if you're last sometimes, you can win. You are surrounded by great co-drivers, great engineers. Sometimes there are races you shouldn't win, and you win, but you have always to believe in it.
That's it for now, but join us on YouTube, Twitter and at mobil1thegrid.com for our extensive Le Mans 24-hour coverage with both videos and exclusive written content. We're your home of motorsport online. Coming up in our next show, we go behind the scenes at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Discover the magic of rallying's most famous jump, Collins Crest. And NASCAR turn right on their first road race of the season at Sonoma. See you next time.